I didn't really have an opportunity to find inroads into the leather community until I came to San Francisco. And it was real bad where all my worlds collided. I had a dance party, I had Leathermen, I had parties with purpose, I was fundraising, and it reminded me of some of my early activism days in Washington, D.C., where we would have dance-a-thons. So it was a way to kind of bring together my love of dance with the cause that was most important to me. And my favorite thing about it was that we would have these events that were either about sex or dance, and we were making a difference, but sometimes people didn't even know it. They were just out having a good time. And it was perfect. You know, you could be an activist without it feeling like work. The leather community was a model or a structure. And what really appeals to me about the leather community is that they had a certain code or a certain value system. And for me, that made me feel comfortable about how I could contribute. I came from an extremely conservative, rigid, disciplinarian family. And while I didn't appreciate those traits coming from my actual father, I really appreciated it coming from all the daddies that I met in San Francisco. And I felt that they were very protective and that they were leading the way. And with Real Bad in particular, I felt that I was learning so many things that maybe were being denied to me in other communities. You know, even in my corporate day job, I felt like I was constantly getting diminished or disregarded because I was female, whereas my big brothers and my daddies in the leather community in San Francisco were always cheering me on. Yeah, girl, do it, you know, and that was just something that was giving me life. It taught me to be stronger. It taught me that I could fight right alongside with them and that I would be able to make a difference. We couldn't sit around and wait for the government or authorities or you know, official organizations to respond, that we were going to have to take matters into our own hands and do something ourselves. And so I now know that that's the San Francisco model and that it came from the nurses here in San Francisco. But Real Bad is very much the same way. You know, it was just people who were watching their friends die and felt helpless and had no idea what to do. So raising money was the most direct way. And that San Francisco model is something that I try to instill in everything I do still to this day. For Real Bad, the tagline is "Be bad, do good." And I've sort of reworked it for myself. I like to call it partying with purpose. So I just try to get all my friends together and we play a little game called Stick It In, where I pass around Crisco cans and people shove dollar bills in. And it's really true that every little bit makes a difference and that it takes a village. And over 6 years of having parties with purpose, I've raised over $60,000, $70,000. Not me personally, but just getting my friends together to have a good time. And it reminded me of, like I said, the dance-a-thons, where we would just go dance all night and, oh, we raised some money? Oh, we made a difference? Fantastic. Everybody wins. There's a certain sentimentality about what was lost, aside from the obvious, which is life. But that sense of freedom and that sense of in-your-face expression, I feel like, you know, there was this glory day of the Miracle Mile and the bathhouses and Bacchanalia and, you know, the 70s, like just being able to get whatever you wanted whenever you wanted. And that's something I've never known. And I think that that's people in my generation, we just can't even imagine. I always tell people that latex has always been my best friend, and I don't really have any experience of barebacking. And so it's so shocking to me now to see that that is what kids are growing up with. Again, I feel like our generation we got skipped over. I never had that sort of reckless abandon. And now there's this new day and this new age, and it's really amazing to see. I think there's a lot of people who are in my generation who just never thought that day would come again. So it's amazing to see the amount of progress that was made in such a relatively short time. I think that I am part of a generation that has HIV PTSD. There is just no time that I have ever thought about sex without thinking about HIV. I have learned to assume that everyone is positive. And I have also learned how to live with knowing that everyone I know is positive. And I have always felt that it's just by chance that I'm not positive myself, that there's timing or luck or opportunity. But I feel that this is the defining identity of it's what defines our identity as a community. We lived through this thing, we conquered this thing, we did it ourselves, and the entire world has changed because of it. I think that there is no other civil rights movement, social justice movement that can claim as much progress and that has had so much impact that just refused to take no for an answer. I think in my mind, I thought maybe I was exaggerating, that the memories had faded so much that maybe I was just making it up in my mind that people were dying left and right. And then to revisit it in these historical films, no, I wasn't making that up. And actually, I really was there. I was at the FDA. I was at the National Institute for Health. And it really was that drastic. People were dying left and right, and young people were dying. And they weren't dying slowly. They were dying hideous, quick, lonely, painful deaths. And I think a lot of the younger guys that I have seen We Were Here and other movies with, they're just shocked. They're weeping, and they can't believe that no one has told them. And I try to let them know the reason why nobody told you is because they're all gone. All the people who could tell you how to avoid, getting infected or how to, stand up for your rights, they didn't get to live to tell the story. Something that the younger guys are teaching me about the future of the leather community is that there are now strategies. This is a new word for me. For me, there was only one strategy, which was condoms, condoms, condoms. And now with PrEP and with PEP and with Truvada, all of a sudden there's sex parties again, and people are having sex at sex parties. I think for my generation, sex parties were sort of this ideal, but really it moved more in the direction of restraint, and BDSM was more about all the things that you didn't have to do or that you could get away without doing, whereas now, why not do everything? And it's amazing to see that. I think I wish that some of the younger guys knew what a gift that is, but in a way that they don't know, that's the real gift. And I think a lot about this magnet that I have on my refrigerator. I've had it for 20 years, and it says, prevention is the cure. And it sort of fits in with my whole absolutism about, condoms. And just a few months ago, I was looking at it and I thought, oh my God, we're cured because we can now prevent it. It's not exactly the cure I thought we were going to get to, but there it is. A new day has dawned, and I'm here to see it. And the kids that I know who I have counseled through seroconverting and discovering what it means to have HIV, they're going to cure HIV. They're going to be rid of it in their lifetime, and it's really amazing.